Hi everyone, good afternoon to all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, this past weekend I went to my first Pokemon card fair. They had one that occurs monthly, but then they started doing it on dates that I just couldn't make it to the weekend shows. And then they also have some trade nights on Fridays, which were interesting. And so, of course, it's summer now and I don't have classes anymore. So I was able to actually go and relax this weekend and actually check out what this local card fair was. And it was phenomenal. So the first experience I want to talk about was like actually just going in there and then just seeing it's like a big old like convention, like a Comic-Con, but then no one's dressing up, unfortunately. There were some people, like in Pokemon, like merch and stuff like that, but no one was really dressing up, unfortunately. It was like a Comic Con in respect to there's a bunch of tables and they had like all these crazy things. You had aside for sports cards, so they had things that people were just selling like PSA rated sports, football, basketball, baseball cards, whatnot. And then the rest of the tables were actually Pokemon. There's some Yu-Gi-Oh too, but of course Pokemon was where we were looking. So when you enter, they actually have free entry, and they rotate the vendors every now and then. So the vendors that were there this past weekend won't be there next month when they have theirs on July 20th, I believe. That's the next show. And what's really interesting is that by rotating the vendors, you get like better deals. You'll probably see different people, of course, and just at the variety of the local area um, who's involved in the card stuff, who's involved in Pokemon and stuff like that, getting to branch out and meet other people around the state and around the area who also collect the cards and who will be willing to do trades and whatnot and talk about the products and the cards and whatnot. Okay, so enough of me rambling there. So you enter, and they actually give you a free pack of baseball cards when you enter. So there's my first pack of baseball cards ever. I need to find it. I think it's downstairs. I don't have it with me right now because, again, Pokemon is the focus here. Okay, so I picked up a ton of cool things from Twilight Masquerade. First things first, there's a person selling bulk, so of course I spent about 30 minutes going through it, and I didn't really find anything else. I did mainly look into their Twilight Masquerade 151 and Temporal Forces. I think you could guess which trainer cards I was looking for there by mentioning those sets. So we did pull out, let me get them all in order. We did pull out some Twilight Masquerade cards. They only had one Buddy Poffin, though. They only had this singular copy of it in their bulk. I searched. I looked through it for like 30, 40 minutes. And it only had one copy, so I had to snag that one. They also had Dracloak. Another just one-off of Dracloak. This is the card that you're going to be needing for Dragapult. Spoiler alert, we have some Dragapult, and we'll be showing them in a bit. And we got some Boomerang energy for the Greninja deck. Again, spoiler alert, we also got a Greninja 2 coming up soon. And there's some other cards here, but there's just trainer cards, I'm running low on them, so I picked them up. They were 25 cents each, and I got, of course, 4 of them for $2. This Buddy Poffin alone, as making this, it's about $1 on TCG Player, so very hard to come by. Buddy Poffin, really good for decks. You're able to find 2 basic Pokemon with 70 HP or less, put them onto your bench. Very nifty for setting up on TCG Online. I know it's very nice to have the cards set up where you just need to collect 4, and then you could use them in any deck. Unfortunately, in real life, you need to go look for Buddy Poffin if you want to build some decks. Alrighty, next to some of the bigger cards that we pulled out. So, at one of the sellers, we had the Maximum Belt here. This is an ace spec, of course, from Twilight Masquerade that my camera does not like to focus on for some reason. Bad camera. And the cool... Oh, sorry, this is Temporal Forces, my bad. It's not Twilight Masquerade, it's Temporal Forces. Okay, so this card, this Maximum Belt, it's an ace spec. You attach it, it does 30 more damage to the opponent's EX. And what you'll be using this for... I'm sorry, look at that. I made already 2 mistakes going into here. It's 50 more damage, not 30. Look at that. 50 more damage, and it's again to your opponent's EX, and it's an A-Spec, a Pokemon tool, so you attach it. Alright, you knew all of that. Okay, so what deck am I going to be using this for? So let me pull them out right now out of my Twilight Masquerade stuff here to show you what I'm planning once I get all the cards for it. So there's this new deck archetype called Festival Grounds. If you know the Pokemon games, they had the DLC set in Kitakami. Well, in the card games, they also had that too. I'm sure you've seen these cards if you're in the know of all the Pokemon TCG stuff. Again, I don't know why my camera's being a jerk and not focusing on anything. I hate that. It's still not focusing, but it's the Festival Grounds thing. You need to carry 4 of these Festival Grounds. You also need 4 Diplin. We do have 4 Diplin right here. Thank goodness. 4 Diplin. Okay, so what am I doing with the Diplin? Spoiler alert, again. This is 3rd spoiler alert. If you haven't played the DLC of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, even though it's been out for a good amount of time now, it's kind of a spoiler alert. This is an evolved version of Applin, basically. Okay, so again, my camera is not focusing. I don't know what's going on. This is a tragedy. All right, Diplin has this ability, Festival Lead. A lot of other Pokemon have it. There's a Goldeen that has Festival Lead too in this Twilight Masquerade set. This will allow the Diplin to attack twice if it's in the active and if the Festival Grounds Stadium is active. So, Diplin attacking twice. You have this attack called Do the Wave, and it does 20 times the amount of bench you have, so a maximum of 100 damage. You have 100 damage on here, hitting twice, so that's 200. You add the maximum belt, and then you get to 150 times 2, 300 each time. So that's kind of the basic gist of that deck, the Festival Grounds deck. You also need some Grookey and Thwackey, which I do have. Let me go through this pile again. The Thwackey and the Grookey are going to be used kind of like the Pidgeot EX that's being used in Charizard and Dragapult, where if the Thwackey is on the bench and your active Pokemon has the Festival Ground ability, I know it's not going to focus, but it's blurry, and I hate that it's blurry. I don't know why. If someone could please tell me why, or how I could fix this. It's a Google Pixel. I don't know why it's being so blurry. It's bad. It's bad that it's blurry. Okay, so Thwackey here, its ability can't read it because of the phone's lens again. I already wiped it. It's clean. It's supposed to be clean. I don't know why it's blurry. Anyways, I am sorry for ranting so much. Okay, so Boom Boom Group, it's basically Pidgeot EX. You're able to search for any card you want if the Festival Grounds is active and if your attacking Pokemon has Festival Leads, so you need these on your bench. I'm going to try and carry 3 in the deck. It's still in progress, so we won't be seeing that deck for a little bit. I'm still missing some cards. Okay, the next thing, A-Spec. This was a Legacy Energy. I got it for $2 at one of the vendors. And I'm going to attach this to Dragapult EX. It's going to count for any energy, but they take 1 less prize card when the Pokemon's knocked out. You can't use that effect twice in a game, though, so it's a one-time thing. I got a 50-cent Torterra EX because I know from the local card stores in the area they won't sell the Torterra EX for 50 cents, and I do have that baby Torterra deck that I've been working on, so might as well throw one of the Torterra EX in there. Interesting attack would be the Forest March. It does 30 damage for each of your grass Pokemon in play, so very interesting there. You could play around with it. Mix in the baby Torterra from Brilliant Stars that does 50 times the amount of evolution Pokemon on your side, so yeah. Alright, this is the big player here, Dragapult EX. We got 3/4 of a playset of it. 3/4 of a playset at the card fair. The nice gentleman who sold me these, they're going for $6, and he said, you know what, just give me $4 for each of them. So got $12 worth of Dragapult EX for 3 of them. And yeah, we're going to be building that Dragapult EX deck. Or I'm going to be adding it to my Charizard. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. There's so many ways you could use Dragapult EX. Of course, if you're on Pokemon TCG, that app, that live app or whatever it's called, I can't remember. But, you know, Phantom Dive, it plays a 6 damage counters, can't be blocked by anything other than Rabsca. Rabsca is the only thing that could block a Dragapult EX. It's also one retreat, and it's also a Pokemon with no weakness. So for a little bit, it's been causing some problems, even nowadays. Because there's some ways to counter it, but you just have to basically go first and then try to evolve yours first before the other person does. Okay, so we also picked up a standalone of Alakazam EX, because there's this very nice stall deck that I kind of want to play with it. You use the Mimikyu and the Klefki, and then you have the Alakazam EX that's just there on the bench attacking for 120 using its Dimensional Hand attack. Okay, so I also picked up 2 Chien-Pao. One of them was $3. And, oh wait, actually I picked up 1 Chien-Pao. Sorry, I have 1 Chien-Pao, I picked up another one, so that was $3, but they gave me a deal basically giving it to me for free. Thank you so much to the nice people I met there who made those wonderful deals. And I am going to show the deck in a bit where I've used this 2 Chien-Pao. Okay, Radiant Greninja, one of them was $2, and then at a separate vendor they had only one for 99 cents. And now we have half a playset. I just need one more, and then we could also use Radiant Greninja and stuff. Sorry, the glare and the blurriness, I don't know what's causing it. Okay, so not Radiant Greninja, Greninja EX, my bad. Okay, Greninja EX, so its first attack, 1 water. You do 170 to the active, and then you search for any card you want. So it's basically like a Pidgeot, but it's a Pidgeot that uses the ability as an attack. And then Mirage Barrage, it just bench snipes. You discard 2 energy, and you do 120 to 2 of your opponent's Pokemon. You could boss up a Manaphy, kill the Manaphy first, and then next turn you're able to do 120 damage to 2 things if you have enough energy. In order to get around its unfortunate ability there on the attack, not the ability, but the effect of the attack, where you're going to have to discard 2 energy, that's where our Boomerang energy will come into play. Let me find my other copy of it, which I just had out. Let me go back through here to show you what this is. So Boomerang energy, what happens is if it's discarded because of an attack, you're able to just put it back into the Pokemon that used the attack that requires discarding. So I have 3 of them, so that means I could, if I get a playset, I'm almost at a playset of it. I just need 1 more. I could then attach 2 Boomerang energy to my Greninja EX, have a water onto it, and then I could snipe 2 things on the bench, and then I could do it next turn because the Boomerang energy, instead of getting discarded, it just goes back to the Pokemon that used the attack. So it's a very nifty special energy there. I'm going to have a lot of fun trying to play around with the Greninja EX. Okay, I said I was going to talk about the decks that I made. Gonna try and test these out live sometime in the future. This is a really interesting one because I'm using Bax and Chien-Pao. I'm using the Bax Caliber, and I'm also using Chien-Pao. I have 2 Chien-Pao in here. But it's not a standard Chien-Pao deck. The other cards in here aren't the Palkia or anything like that. So the Chien-Pao and Bax are actually going to be powering up this Pokemon here. This is a blast from the past. I think I've made videos on this Pokemon when it was still pre-rotation. And it's going to be powering up the Ambipom. So the Ambipom from Pokemon Go, which was basically like 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 2 years ago actually. 2 years, sorry about that. And what's interesting about this, it's one of those coin flip Pokemon. So its ability, when it's damaged by an attack, you just flip a coin. If it's heads, you prevent all that damage. And then you have Full Tilt Fling. You flip a coin for each energy attached to the Pokemon, and then it does 60 damage for each heads. So I had this crazy idea of just combining the Chien-Pao and Bax engine for energy acceleration, and then you just put it on an Ambipom. Sometimes they get heads on the when they try to attack, and it's really fun getting up to like 6 coin flips. And then, you need to bring 6 die or something like that, because I don't think anyone wants to do them all individually. So this is a fun deck. We'll play it on stream someday in the future. Alright, next deck. Let's see what this one is. This is the Crocodile deck. I also picked up 2 Skeledirge EX, the Steel-type Skeledirge from not Obsidian Flames, Paradox Rift. So this Skeledirge has a very nice ability. You discard a fire energy to do 60 more damage to the opponent's Pokemon. I'll keep that Skeledirge on the bench, though, because I'll be attacking with the Feraligatr from Temporal Forces. The Feraligatr from Temporal Forces, again, big shout out to Johto fans. I loved Feraligatr. I should have chose Feraligatr in Pokemon Silver. I wasn't thinking. And I missed that Pokemon, but thank goodness it's back in the TCG again. So Torrential Heart, you put 5 damage counters onto the Feraligatr, and then its attacks do 120. Giant Wave, it does 160, but then you can't use Giant Wave next turn. How do you get around that? So you would have this Relicanth, also from Temporal Forces, and its ability allows Pokemon that have evolutions, they could use the attacks of their previous evolutions. So the Croconaw, let me find the Croconaw. The Croconaw basically has this attack where you switch out once you use it. So that's nifty, and then you could again keep the Skeledirge on the bench and then just discard a fire, and then do like 100 damage at least with that stuff going. And then you of course have the Torrential Heart to add a little bit more. On TCG Online, I got to like 340 damage if I do the Skeledirge ability and then the Torrential Heart. You just have to watch out for the energies because this one needs a lot of energy. I might add a 5th Fire one or a Luminous just to... I don't know what I'm going to actually do because I've ran out of energy on this online. And you also need these big air balloons or switches. You need switches in this thing too because, again, if you don't want to be stuck there with the Feraligatr that you can't attack with that big wave or whatever it's called, say big air balloon, you bring up another Feraligatr. Why you're using big air balloons? Because it gets the retreat cost down to 0. So then you just switch into your other Feraligatr and then Torrential Heart or discard the fire energy using the Skeledirge ability. So then you're doing at least 200 damage. And it's a single prizer deck too, so which is really, really nifty. I love playing single prizers because sometimes they have some cool effects instead of just like, you know, spamming the Greninja EX or Dragapult or Charizard. That being said, I might add my Dragapult to the Charizard. I don't know, before I go to the local card store and play tonight. Alrighty, last thing. Found more Pokemon merch. This is an Eevee shirt that I got at Hot Topic. They had their semi-annual sale. On the website, it looked like a very small print, but then as you can see in real life, it's very big. It's a big Eevee on the front. I'm gonna try it on, but there we go. Eevee! Alright, yeah, this is nice. It is a nice green. I don't have many green shirts, so oh, there's an Eevee one. It's like 15 bucks, I think. They still have them on sale right now, but yeah, it's a giant print shirt. On the website, it doesn't look as big of a print, but as you can see, it's very, very big, and it's nice. It's a nice forest green too. I love it. Alrighty, this actually, I think one of the big Pokemon influencers had a shirt like this too. So yeah, I guess I'm twinning with that person now. They also have the Eevee shirt. Alrighty, that's all for right now. Thanks so much for tuning in. Yeah, we're going 18 minutes. Oh my goodness. Just all that talk about the camera lens. Alrighty, thanks so much for tuning in. Please do something nice or someone. I'll catch you all soon. Take care, everyone.